those who are on Zoom with us today. Welcome to the July 29th Rotary Club of Cincinnati meeting here at Great Oaks Facility, Scarlet Oaks. We will begin with the national anthem, followed by the invocation and four-way test with West Motto.
So, at your discretion, I'm going to ask you to bow your heads. But since it's a morning meeting, just look around and maybe poke somebody if they don't let it go. God, thank you for the opportunity to be together in person as a Rotary Club. And thank you specifically for Great Oaks Career Campus that helps people have gainful employment, which is great for themselves, but also the entire community. As we listen to the presentation today, may we all reflect on all the blessings that we each have had in our own lives. And lastly, may Joey Votto continue his hot streak and hit another home run today, which would be his 6 games in a row. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so of the things we say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Next, we will have new member introductions by Rick Glenn. We have 4 new members. Let's give Rick Glenn and our new members a round of applause.
We'll start with Margie. Thank you, President Melinda. Margie Garsh. Margie and her husband Ken have 4 children. Her oldest daughters are recent college graduates. Her third daughter is a college senior, and her son is a high school senior. Margie is a Cincinnati native and worked in communications since her graduation from Xavier University with a bachelor's degree in communications broadcast journalism. Margie began her career as a television news writer and producer with WKRC-TV in Cincinnati, moved into public relations at the College of Mount St. Joseph, and then spent several years working as a self-employed writer, editor, and public relations practitioner. She was among the first employees of DePaul Cristo Rey High School when it opened in 2011 and continues to serve on the school's executive leadership team as Communications and Marketing Director. She is a member of the International Association of Business Communicators, the Leadership Council for Nonprofits, Marketing and Communications Leadership Circle, and the Salesian Guild of Greater Cincinnati. Most of her free time is spent with her husband Ken and their 4 children. She is happily helping to plan her oldest daughter's wedding for June 2022. Good luck with that. Please give Margie a warm welcome. Next we'll have John Walters. John and his wife Shannon have 2 sons, Jacob, who is 9, and Evan, who is 5. They live in Liberty Township. John graduated from Thomas More College with a bachelor's degree in business administration. John has been employed at First Commonwealth Bank since 2019 as a senior SBA business development officer. And let me tell you, SBA is really hot now. This guy's working very hard. Prior to this position, he was a business banking VP with Huntington Bank. He's affiliated with the Phoenix chapter of BNI, which is in Westchester. He enjoys coaching youth sports, family activities and vacations, golfing, and music. Please welcome John Walters. Next is Siobhan Taylor. Siobhan currently resides in downtown Cincinnati area. Siobhan has a BA in anthropology and political science from Miami University and a master's of social work from the University of Michigan. She has completed additional studies at the University of Cincinnati College of Law. Siobhan currently serves as the president and CEO of DePaul Cristo Rey High School, a local Catholic organization focused on providing high school students with college preparatory academic curriculum and innovative work study program. And I know personally this program works. My firm has had 2 students each year for the last 7 years, and it is quite fulfilling and rewarding. A Cincinnati native, Siobhan has held several successive educational leadership positions over the course of the last 10 years, locally at the Springer School and Center and the James N. Gamble Montessori High School. Prior to joining DePaul Cristo Rey, she served as head of high school at Marburn Academy in New Albany, Ohio. Siobhan enjoys time with her family and friends. She is a writer, avid boxer, pickleball enthusiast, and group Bible study teacher. Her passion for God, education, and youth continues to underscore everything she does. Please welcome Siobhan Taylor. Last but not least, Nathan Musgrove. Nathan grew up in Franklin, Tennessee. He relocated to North Carolina to attend Wake Forest University, where he earned his bachelor's and master's degree in accountancy. Obviously, I love the guy. Following school, Nathan began to work for RSM, the U.S.'s 5th largest accounting firm, first in their assurance services group in Charlotte, North Carolina, before transitioning to their transaction advisory services practice in New York City, where he managed financial due diligence engagements for a wide array of middle market and M&A projects. While in New York, Nathan met his fiancée, Kate Johanningman. They both were interested in pursuing new career opportunities closer to their families. They moved to the Mount Lookout and Hyde Park neighborhood. Nathan and Katie are to be married this October and are looking forward to starting a family together thereafter. They are active purveyors of and participants in Cincinnati's vibrant arts scene and Nathan serves on the board of the Queen City Cabaret, a performing arts nonprofit dedicated to showcasing Cincinnati's rich musical past, present, and future. Nathan also has served as an executive committee member for Fuel Cincinnati, a branch of Give Back Cincinnati that funds new nonprofit organizations and ideas throughout the greater Cincinnati area. Although Nathan does not have a Rotary connection in his own family, his soon-to-be aunt-in-law is an active Rotarian and past president of Naperville, Illinois Club in the greater Chicago area. And his grandfather-in-law was a proud and nearly lifelong Rotarian where he lived in Three Rivers, Michigan. Nathan is honored and could not be more excited to have been invited to the Rotary family. And he looks forward to many opportunities to serve his community and the wonderful relationships he is sure to make as a new Rotarian. Please welcome.
Thank you, Past President Rick Glenn. Next, we will have the welcome and introduction of our guests by John Davis.
Thanks, President Melinda. And, I have the distinct honor this morning of welcoming 3 visitors, but not just 3 visitors to any Rotarian meeting, but 3 visitors that came out at 8 o'clock at an undisclosed location. So I think, we might be a little down in numbers, but I think we need to, make up for the applause as I introduce these people. Because 8 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen, that's we should waive the membership fee, right? So first, Courtney Shannon is sponsored by Melinda Kelly, and she is with Dress for Success. So, Melinda, Courtney, would you like to stand up and wave? And then our host today, Mr. Dan Rush from the Great Oaks Career Campus, again, Melinda Kelly's guest. And finally, also from Dress for Success, sponsored by Marita Wade, is Dr. Angela Rivers Harper. Dr. Harper.
Thank you very much for that, John. That was a nice waker-upper for getting us started and everything. So thank you so much for that. And welcome, guests. We're glad to have you with us today. Next week, we'll be back at the Hilton, and we welcome you to come and visit us there as well. Now we will have a special moment from the heart from Fred Fisher.
I was talking to Melinda and Harry a little bit before the meeting today. This is kind of a coming home for me. I was out here 30 some odd years ago. I don't know how long this has been here. 50 years. Well, I don't think it was that long, but it may well have been. But I've always had a soft spot in my heart for career trade type education and people. I made my living in manufacturing, and I was out here looking for machinist trainees. And I always believed that somebody who wanted to and was able to should go to college and go as far as they can go. But it wasn't for everybody. And we found great people at schools like this. And at that time, they didn't have a machinist trainee program. So I was out here picking over the people. I remember talking to an automotive group and telling them, in January, when that car comes in, and you slide underneath it and a big clump of snow falls on your chest. Said, you could be in my air-conditioned heated shop running a CNC machine. So we recruited a few people from here and from some of the northern Kentucky campuses. And it's just a great education, great opportunity. I'm glad to be here. And when I came here, it was one fair-sized building. And when I came in today, I was astounded at how it's grown. So this place is really on the way, and appreciate you having us, Harry. Thank you.
started. Next, we will have our announcements. We have several members celebrating birthdays this week. If you're present, please stand and please hold your applause until all the names are read. August 1st, Mark Zupine and Aaron Polke, and August 2nd, John Pepper. I don't guess we need a round of applause, none of them are here. Let's wish them a happy birthday. Our meeting sponsor today is Rotarian Brett LaBar. So Brett, in your absence, we thank you very much for sponsoring this meeting and also for all that you do, continue to do for our club as past president now. Next, we will have split the pot. 25% of the pot goes to the winner, 25% goes to the accumulating pot, and 50% goes to the membership development efforts of our club. So let's see if we can give away the accumulating pot today. And remember, guests are eligible to win the first drawing, but not for the accumulating pot. The winner today will receive $30, and the big pot now is worth $334. So let's see. We'll ask CEO and President Harry Snyder to pull the winning ticket.
I gave my tickets to his wife.
Okay, the last four digits. Are you all okay? It's blue. The ticket is blue, and the last four digits are 8588. 8588. Carl will be drawing for the Queen of Hearts.
It's the right color.
Nine of diamonds. Well, maybe next time, Carl. Next announcement is today is the last day to purchase the Believe to Achieve tickets for our event. That's next Saturday, August 7th. That will be at the Brain Brew Distillery. So if you have any questions about that, if you haven't registered yet, contact the Rotary office, or you can see Christy and Linda who are here today. And we have just a special note too, Carl, since you won the winning ticket, we'll give you just a few minutes to share your comments to the group.
Well, August 7th is Believed to Achieve. It's going to be a great event. We do have raffle tickets, $100 each, that you can pick one of the live auction items right off the board. Nobody will get to bid on it. It's all yours for $100. We're only selling 150 tickets. Some great packages. The Hotel Coronado, 5-day, 4-night, plus airfare out in California. It's a great place. You'll really like it. An Orlando townhouse with tickets, or with some gift cards to Disney World. It has a $2,500 value. The Coronado was $4,500. A glamping package at Kings Island that comes with zoo tickets and Kings Island tickets, $2,000 value. A Brain Brew custom whiskey blending experience in your home with food, and that has a $2,000 value. And then private sporting clays and shotgun lessons from a Mike Friedemaker, who's one of the area's top shooting instructors. So you've got a chance to win any of those 5 for $100, or come to the event and bid on those, and bid on the over 100 silent auction items that we have. So hope to see you there. Thanks.
Thank you, Carl. Our next upcoming hands-on service project will be this Saturday at Lower Mill Creek. It will be a cleanup in preparation for the Paddle Fest that's upcoming. If you would like some more information regarding that, contact Dr. Hux Miller for more details and to sign up. Euchre, the results are in. The July 27th tournament that was hosted by Allie Hubbard resulted in a 3-way tie for first place between Camille Schersinger, Steve Bridle, and Jeff Weir. They all turned in scores of 28 points. The next game is scheduled for Tuesday, August 24th, at the home of Vince Hartman. Many of you may know Vince, who was away for a while and is back. All level of experiences, people with experience levels are encouraged to attend. Jeff Weir is the chairperson of the Euchre tournament, so contact Jeff if you're interested. Save the date. Family Fun for All. The Rotary Picnic will be at Camp Allen on Saturday, August 28th. As part of the festivities, we are going to again have a car tour prior to the picnic, and we will also have a visit to the Cardboard Boat Museum and a private steam engine collection. So remember, kids and family members are welcome. Kids are free. We had a great time before when we had the tour and the car showcase, which was led by Linda Muth and an organization that she works with. So we're looking forward to that again. And next week, our meeting will be back at the Hilton Netherland Plaza, where our speaker will be Robert Sprague, Ohio Treasurer of State, and we will be in the pavilion next week. So those are our announcements, and next we move to our program for today. We're really excited to be here at Great Oaks and to be in the Scarlet Oaks facility. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you CEO and President, sometimes considered Superintendent, Harry Snyder. I had a chance to work with Harry through the years. He's an excellent leader, a great person to work with, and is doing a wonderful job with the 4 campuses of Great Oaks. There's Scarlet Oaks here, and Sharonville, Live Oaks, and Milford, Laurel Oaks, and Wilmington, and Diamond Oaks, and Harrison, and over on the west side.
That concludes my presentation.
But you know what? I won't say much more, Harry.
Please don't.
Okay, I'll stop right here. I'll just say that Harry holds a master's degree in vocational education from Wright State University, a bachelor's degree in business administration and management from the University of Cincinnati, and he and his wife, Janet, resides in Batavia with 2 daughters and 1 son. So thank you so much, Harry, and he will take questions after his presentation, after which we will have a tour of the facility. Thank you.
I'm actually a Rotarian also, and can you hear me okay?
Yes.
And I'm over in Batavia, and so I was your assistant governor in 2004, 5, and 6. I did a 3-year term as assistant governor, so I got to go down to the Netherlands Hiltons and enjoy those meals. So I'm excited to be here. Great Oaks is a joint vocational school, and so once my clicker works, we'll kind of walk you through what that means, because we were talking, Ms. Wade and I were talking earlier about Hamilton County, or Hamilton, City of Hamilton. So back in 1968, does anybody remember Governor Rose? The guy, the speaker called Vern Rice. They actually came together and said, we want to create these trade schools around the state of Ohio and provide vocational education for all students, that they would have access to vocational education. And therefore created 3 systems: a joint vocational system, schools joining together to provide vocational education, and then a comprehensive compact. So the city of Cincinnati is a comprehensive school, meaning they can provide joint vocational school programs within their system, and a compact is when the schools join together. In our case, locally, we had Glen Estee and Amelia High School on the east side, and then on the west side was Coleraine and Northwest. And I tell you that because then they evolved over the years. So we had 19 members sit down at a table back in 1968, and they said, we got to figure out how to do this. So the 19 original members came from Hamilton County, around Cincinnati Public Schools, except Coleraine and Northwest. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's kind of. So they started having this conversation, and they had to get a school up and running by 3 years from that date. So in 68, they came together, and then by 1970, we passed our first levy. So we're technically 50 years old as of 1970. As of last year, we started celebrating our 50th year. They built, at that time, then people out in Clermont County, the northern half, joined with us, and then 4 schools created a U.S. grant down on the bottom half. And then Clinton, Phelan, Highland County, from those not in Ohio. This is Fayette County, Highland County, or Clinton County and Highland County. And then as you can see, we go all the way to the Indiana border. So they all joined together. We had 35 schools joined together in 1996. Amelia and became West Claremont. Glen Estee and Amelia became West Claremont, and then they joined our board. So I have 36 school systems that we serve. Pretty big area. We're one of the largest career technical centers, not only in Ohio, but also in the United States. And we service 2,100 square miles. So back to Melinda, we have 4 campuses. So this is our largest campus, Scarlet Oaks, meaning we serve more students at this campus than our other 3. We serve about 900 students at this campus. Our Lowell Live and Dining campus, we serve about 700 students. And they're juniors and seniors. So you're seeing pictures that we started a renovation. So these buildings are over 50 years old. So we opened in 1973 was our first graduating program started. And then we've gone there from there. So we've renovated the space that we had and we added on. And we're in that process of Laurel Oaks. We'll dedicate a new facility up there. We built between 2 of the buildings. And that will happen September 8th. In Live Oaks, we are in deconstruction right now, but by 2023 we'll have that completed. We're excited about this. Our purpose is we'll provide innovative career tech training for our students and our community. That's our goal. And then our 2 goals is to prepare to serve all learners and then create an environment. And that's what we try to focus on. So the legislators in their wisdom said you could use these facilities to help also do adult training. So in the evening, we leverage our facilities to do that. And presently, last year we served about 13,000 adults. So if you drove around our campus, the majority of that energy is in public safety services. So we have a police academy here, we have a 22-lane gun range indoor. We're the only public high school that has an on-campus gun range. If you're into concealed carry weaponry, you can go over there. You can take up to an AR-15. And we do a lot of training for the FBI, air marshals, and different tobacco, what is it, AFT, alcohol, food, tobacco agents. A lot of people don't know that, so we do a lot of training in your community. We also do a lot of firefighter training, so firefighters have to be recertified. If you lived in Marymount, Ohio, your fire department probably comes here to do recertification. So if you drive around back of this property, you'll see a burn building and a firehouse. Now we serve 24,000 high school students, and again I told you juniors and seniors, but we also serve what we call satellite programs. We have 90 satellite programs, which I'll start breaking down here in a second. So on our campuses, we offer 32 career fields. Back in the 70s, how schools came together, they were required to offer at least 12 different sectors and 20 different programs. It's called the 12-20 rule. So for an example, automotive is a sector, but in that automotive you could have auto collision, auto technician, a diesel mechanic. That would fall under that sector. So that's how you get to the 20 different programs. So Bill Shula is sitting back there, and he was out at Bethel Tate, and Bethel Tate was like, we can't afford to provide that space and that training, so we're going to join with the other schools to provide that. And that's how the joint vocational system came about. In this case, we'll have a record number coming in this year. We'll have right at 3,000 Dan. I'm looking back again, right at 3,000 students coming in, so we're excited about that. We've seen a 5-year growth over the last period, and we've been at about 100 students a year from our partner districts. So satellite programs are our teacher, a Great Oaks teacher, embedded in one of our partnering districts. So we have, we just hired 6 new instructors, so we'll have 96 programs this year. Anybody heard the word STEM? So that's big. So STEM is our opportunity. We can go all the way down to the 5th grade now, and the goal there is to start introducing students to careers as they go through the process. So 7th, 8th grader will go to what we call a gateway program. So they'll learn about these different careers, and we work with Ohio Means Jobs. We start teaching about that. Then they move into their high school and they could do different programs. Anybody here at Project Lead the Way, PTWL, Project Lead the Way? Good. So Project Lead the Way is STEM-based. It has an opportunity to look at aviation, engineering, biomedical, and it helps these students explore those while they are on our feeder campuses. They can do that for 4 years. So they can do a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. You can see all the different programs. Somebody from Xavier, who was I talking to? Yeah, when we were talking. So we have a Project Search on our campuses, and those are, Camp Allen is a good example of helping those students work through and find a career. So Project Search works through our Career X program. It's a pathway for kids with learning challenges to find a purpose in life and lead to that. That's one of our satellite programs. You can look down through that list, and something might stir your eyes. Any questions about that? Okay. So if I was sitting in your seat, how do you do that? So we have a $65 million budget. We're a $65 million business. I have 462 full-time employees. I have 386 part-time employees. We are financed by our local property tax, which is 2.7. Does anybody own property outside of the city of Cincinnati? So on your bill, you'll see a line that says Great Oaks JBS. That's us. And it's 2.7, and that generates about 42 million of our $65 million budget. And then from the state, when a student comes here, funding follows that student. So we generate about $20 to $21 million in state funds. And then that little sliver, which I would really like to do away with, but that's called the federal government. And because we receive federal funds, we have to follow federal mandates. And we get about $1 million from them. Questions on that? No?
What don't you like about the federal mandate?
Just that, they're mandates, and we spend more money on those mandates than we generate funds from those dollars. So a good way to say that. That's our challenge.
What do?
That's a good question. We've had that debate with our board. It's just that some of those access dollars help. So for example, busing is, we get some federal purpose dollars that help us with our busing. An example, this recent mask mandate. So because we receive federal funds, we have to require people to wear masks on our bus. Those are the kind of mandates. Special education is another area that we receive federal dollars and follow those rules. Not that they're bad rules, but sometimes they become litigation issues that we'd rather not. That's good.
Would the infrastructure bill help you?
Yes.
With some of the
Senator Portman's a great friend of career technical education. He ends up our caucus. And yes, it will provide many of our students opportunities, heavy equipment programs that we run, also our trades, construction, HVAC, all those we're excited about that. He also has in that bill a little caveat that the other reason is we receive federal funds for our adult programming. So Pell grants, he's looking at short fee. Right now you have to have at least a 600-hour clock hour program, and we can go down to a 150-hour clock hour program. So for layman's term, if you needed a state tested nurse assistant, if you were in a nursing home, that's about an 85-hour course. You could tie on a patient care assistant. You could do a safety and get to 150 hours. A Pell grant would help pay that student's tuition. So yes, we're excited about it.
Do students pay tuition or anything?
So we're tuition free. We're free public education. We pick up all their fees, all their children's fees, or any uniform fees. We try to take care of that for a different program.
What about the adults that are?
So our adult program has to be self-funded. And so most of our programs are around $10,000, and that's paid by tuition. The majority of which is a Pell grant, which right now is $5,900. can get student loans and/or we were talking about foundation dollars. We have many people in the area that provide scholarships to some of our students, some of our adult students to make up that gap.
You're tuition free, do the students have to maintain a certain grade point average to stay in the program?
No,
They can be zero students and stay.
but they can be kicked out of school.
That's what I'm
Sit back in their homes. But that's not our goal. Our goal is to help the students get over those barriers. You'll see some of those numbers later. Do a good job on where a student comes into us at and help them get over those barriers. So I have a 35-member board. Each of the school systems are represented by one of their appointed board members, with the exception of Cliff Massey and Blanchester. They have one board member from the Southern Ohio ESC that represents those two. And then the Hamilton County ESC has 5 board members, and they represent the non-city schools, being Forest Hills, Three Rivers, Southwest, Finneytown, and Fox. So we have a great board, as you can see, good people. They are appointed by the board of their homes. So Marymount appoints Ken White to our board to serve. We do a board committee chair, and I thought you would find this interesting. So most of our work is done in the committee level. We meet the second Wednesday of the month, one time a month. We meet from 6:30 to 7:30 is our board committees, and that's where all the work happens. And then they come into one big room, and we have our board meeting, and it usually goes from 7:30. We're usually done by 9 o'clock. So we have where the discussion happens is mainly at that board. Once that committee brings it forward, they will make a recommendation to the full board and full board act. Good efficient system. Most boards, most of my 36, all of my 36 partnering districts have 5 board members. So it's hard to find any more people interested in serving on local schools. Isn't that right? That's the challenge that we're seeing today, is that that's where the hot spot is in the school systems, and when people are not willing to step up and make those tough decisions. We benefit because those board members are seasoned by their local boards, so by the time they come to us, they have a good idea of how things work. And we communicate with them on a weekly basis. We just had our Ohio Association of Career Technical Education conference up in Columbus, and I had 14 of my 35 board members there to participate, so they enjoyed the season.
A lot of school board members are getting inundated with questions about opening up and things like that. Has word come out as how to handle all these things?
Every day. Last year was a nightmare. In fact, I was going over to a high Ames group over here in Princeton. We just had a superintendent yesterday. Last year, people won't believe this, but I found out at the same time you found out at 2 o'clock when the governor spoke. And then we would have to react. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So 2 weeks ago, we've already said we're going mask free for our programs on here. I have 36 school systems. All 36 will decide what they're going to do at their local level. 2 weeks ago, I can tell you most of them were going mask free unless it was grade level, and then they were going to wear masks in the younger grades. Yesterday, they were all just sitting there going, we don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. I'm just being serious.
Are you by law exempt from liability on that topic?
We were. I go back, there's this little conflict between the federal government and the state government, who has the right to do what, and so, you know, we'll get sued. I get action taken against me every year. That's one of my surprises as a superintendent. And that's just a part of the cost of doing business. You go in and present your case, you learn from it, or you're right. I'm not trying to sidestep your things.
No.
If you want me to stand here and tell you what's going to happen in 2 weeks, I drove in this morning, listening to the news, thinking, what are they gonna do? You got federal employees that are gonna get mandated to get a vaccine. We did a voluntary vaccination back in, our second shots was March 5th. And our staff, it was about 80% of them, but I had 20% that didn't want to do it. And so that's your challenge that we all face. Bill?
Yeah, we are. My school board is meeting at 7:30 tomorrow morning to address these issues about how we're going to do it. Because we had everything in place and what we were going to do, and now things changed. So we're meeting 7:30 tomorrow morning to try to go through it all and see what this is.
So there's 630 school systems in the state of Ohio, they're all wrestling. Local control, so we're wrestling with them. They tell us local control, but they don't come out. I do want to give kudos to Hamilton County, Drake Custerman. He was fabulous. So we met we're meeting again tomorrow, 8 a.m. in the morning. We have all the Hamilton County superintendents and some of them busy joins and stuff like that. And we talk about these issues, and they'll tell us, this is what we're going to enforce, or this is what we're looking for. And so that provides us with guidance. And we want to be good neighbors. You know, we provided space for shots, and Dan opened up the building. We had community members come in here and get shots and things like that. But that's our challenge. And then I have several legislators. I got 12 state reps that I deal with. I have 5 state senators in my territory, so I cover 2,100 square miles. Again, just for visualization, if you're coming down 75 and you get to those prime outlet malls, those big malls, that's where my district starts, and then it goes all the way to Harrison. So I got Cindy Abrams over here, got Bob Peterson as a senator up there, Sean Williams. So I have to work with them in this recent budget bill. Those are the people I talk to about how it would impact us. Paulo's up there on the top right-hand corner. Paulo just is retiring in September. Paulo's been the best superintendent I've had for the last 5 years. I'm looking back at Bill. I've been a superintendent for 8 years, and I've had 4 state superintendents. In my 25-year career at Great Oaks, I've probably had 12 to 14 state superintendents come and go. So every time a new state superintendent comes in, he or she's got to make their mark. That's a challenge. I have 3 congressmen. Brad Winstrup is my congressman. Steve Shattuck covers our Scarlet Oaks and Diamond Oaks campus. Steve Stivers, who's now in the Ohio Chamber, was our Clinton County congressman, and then I got our 2 senators, Bob Portman and Senator Brown. Senator Portman has been a great friend for career technical education. He heads up what we call the career technical education caucus at the federal level. So he's been a good advocate. Does anybody know Rob's background? What his money came from? Fort Wayne Equipment. And so 50 years ago, when the Great Oaks started, Fort Wayne Equipment was in here grabbing students just like people. So they had better luck maybe. So the Portman family has weaved a nice partnership. So we have what we call business and industry advisory committees, and this is our connection to business. Does anyone, I'm just going to ask, serve on one of our BACs? So again, did Project Serve? So all of our programs, curriculum is reviewed by our business and industry to make sure it's in line with the business and industry wants. They're constantly coming into our lab. When you walk through our building today, that is what they're telling us. For an entry-level person to learn the basic skill sets needed to work with their employees. So they can constantly give us advice.
Hi, I do have a question regarding job fairs and how you reach out to the corporate community. Because I'm at Coney and Shepherd's relocation department, and I meet with HR directors all the time. And many are in the manufacturing segment, and they have so many openings. One client usually has 10, he has 50 now, and he's having a hard time recruiting people. Can he contact you?
Sure, good to our website. But I'm going to just tell you the dirty little secret is these people are involved on our campuses, and they're coming in and they're helping students write resumes. They're helping students do interviews. And again, what are they really doing? they're looking at who fits well within their company's culture, and they're talking to those kids. And so when that co-op or internship opportunity becomes available, they're providing those, and so they're learning to work with those groups. So that's where we work with employers. Dan Rush, as the dean, will help coordinate that, but that's where we make the connection.
So they need to get more involved.
They need to get involved. We have people call us in June and say, can we hire some of your graduates? We're like, they were hired in February. They're already in a slot to go somewhere. So that's, you got to be progressive, and it really starts at junior year when they start coming to our campus.
And do you have job fairs on site here?
We haven't had a job fair, I think, in 5 years, to be honest with you. We used to do them on site, but right now, you're going to see our placement here.
You talked about some of your numbers, like 100 more each month, up to 3,000 now or so. This is for what, high school seniors? Or high school
Juniors and seniors.
Juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
Were the numbers higher 10, 15, 20 years ago?
Well, it's a capacity issue, no.
No?
Right around 2,400. Okay. So it's just what your facility can hold. So when I was talking about our new buildings, which I'll talk about, we're adding capacity.
A comment that's obvious is what's amazing about what we're doing for these students is that you're creating career paths that aren't going to be exported overseas. You know, we all know what's happened in our lifetime. I mean, this is amazing, and they can make decent, more than decent living. But I also want to give a shout out to for Lonnie Merriman, who heads up your auto repair. He's corresponded a couple times. He's amazing. And he's done great work on my car. His campaign are perfect.
So there's a good example. Lonnie, auto collision. Auto collision, that's the only thing those kids don't know. They're working at Standard Aero, right up here on Mosdale Road, taking aircraft parts. Because the paying process is the same. And so people don't make that jump. They think, oh, auto collision, there can't be that many jobs. There might not be. Manufacturers are painting their equipment before they send it out. You know, and so those are those connections that people wouldn't even think. They don't think how broad you should have your skill sets be. So thank you for bringing Lonnie. Lonnie's a good example.
What do you do with a student that graduates from high school and goes to college, professional college, for a year or two, says, this is really, I really want to learn a trade. So, does he come back here and he comes to school here for free?
No.
Okay.
So that's our adult programming. Real quick, we'll do, because I'm getting in, I'll talk about our adult. That's our student warranty. No, I think it's good. So we provide a warranty because of the ever-changing pace, and I'm going to go back. Now, you would think, oh man, that's great. They provide. We've had this warranty for 20 years, and again, because we're aligned with business and industry, we've never had a student come back. They could come back and learn one skill. If we checked off a competency that they know how to do a vertical weld, and they don't know how to do a vertical weld, the employer can bring the student back and we'll retrain them. And that's what's important to the students. So, sure, we're valuable to the community, be clear for the future, and then here's our numbers. So 93% of our students continue their employment, or both. 95% when employ grade other students again. And then this last year we had 155 participate in what we call CTSOs, Career Tech Student Organization. So Skills USA, DECA, those different programs is where our students compete nationally. Now this year, we did it all virtually, but we got a couple from Scarlet, a couple of 8th place national winners, cabinetry, something else. So in your packets, and this gets about to your conversation about return on investment. So many times we talk to parents that say, oh, my kid's going to college. This is not a good pathway for them. And we argue with them the opposite. We say it is a good pathway. So our high school students earn college credits as they come through our program. So they earn a credential. That credential is certified by a third party, meaning if you're in the welding, Hobart, or if you're automotive, ASE, automotive service excellence, if you're construction, whatever that certificate is carried with it, they would get those college credits. So in your package, we talk a lot about return on investments. So back to your question, we have adult students that come back and they're taking the same curriculum that our high schools take. It's called a 900 clock hour program. That our juniors take 450 hours, our seniors take 450 hours, our adults take 900. So they'll start here in August and they'll be done in June. That same 900-hour curriculum that our high schools do. So these students paid about $10,000. And these would track, we use through Jobs and Family Services, we're able to track them. University of Cincinnati Economic Center, you may hear that, UC Economic Center. Did this for us, and they tracked students. They were able to use their SSI through a technology, which I don't want to get into that detail. That booklet's in your pamphlet too. But if you invested $10,000 in a full-time program in the 5th year, you would receive about 273% return on that investment. For example, an HVAC student would pay about $10,000. That first year, they would actually lose money if they got a job about $35,000 right out of an HVAC system. But by that 5th year, they're probably making $70,000. And again, that return grows over the career. So we have high school students that are getting out of a manufacturing facility, 18, 19 years old, making $50,000. And Pine Tool's a good example. They provide a pathway, apprenticeship program. They'll bring the student in, they'll get them into the program, they'll take a year, they'll pay for their next year, associate's degree at Cincinnati State. And then after they get their associates, they'll pay for their UC engineering. And guess what? After 4 years, they have an engineering degree with no college debt. So that's what we try to convince parents that this is a viable option to look at. Engineering is a good one. If you think you are interested in engineering, come take one of our engineering programs. And one, you'll get that hands-on experience, but two, it better prepares you for those classes in mathematics and CAD and things like that. So we're excited about it. Questions on that? Did I answer your question?
I was a jet mechanic in the Navy, and I spent 4 years with that. Now, if a kid nowadays gets out of service and has that kind of experience, do they get any kind of credit bumped up in the program?
They will. So we run an aviation program at our Rotary Roadshow campus. You can see the plane. So Laurel Oaks was a military base back in the 70s. With the Minuteman missiles and stuff like that, it was an early defense area, but it sits between two reservoirs. So we have an aviation program. So to your answer, our high school students will go through and get their, what's called their A&P, their general, and then their airframe, and then they'll come back a year later and get their power plant, and we partner with Southern State. It's actually our instructor in our program, and Southern State is our sign-off. So to his question, military is interesting in that they use different terminology than civilian. So that person that can work on a jet has to go through what's called a civilian translation course. Where they come in. Am I right?
So they get recertified.
They know how to work on it. They just call it part number A23678, and these call it avionics or whatever. And so they have to learn that new.
If you get a certificate that qualifies you to be an armed fire, they'll honor that, an airline will honor that.
Once you get the civilian, you have to get the civilian side. But there are cross-training programs, and we do provide that for adults. That's a good feeder. So we work with a company called AIMS up in Airborne Maintenance Engineering Service up in, literally, if you can see that campus, you can see the aircraft 100 yards away from our hangar, is their hangar, and those kids do co-ops for those internships. Did I answer your question?
More or less.
Wilmington, Ohio. So there was this company called ABX Air. They were bought out by this company called DHL. Everybody remember that? They had 8,000 employees, and they did a sort at night. They had 104 jets come in every night. and then that got pulled out back down to CDG. Back at that site now is an Amazon hub. We're up to 650 employees. Ames, Airborne Maintenance Engineering, actually has about 850 employees. Those pictured in those jets last year when COVID hit, we had about 200 Delta jets sitting on our tarmac, mothball. It was a weird sight. It was exciting for our kids, but it was a weird sight. So Ames does a lot of retrofit, put new jet engines on Delta jets, and so they have a great business there. They got a great business model. Those kids come out making $21 to $24 an hour, just with the airframe. And then they'll go back and get their power plant. Guess who helped pay for that? Ames. And so, yeah, they get a nice pass. The difference between our certification programs and a community college or a university is we don't have to provide academics. So, a lot of our adults struggle on the academic side, but they're good on hands-on and they prosper. Laurel Oaks, we had 2 buildings. Went out of time. So we had 2 buildings. This building and this building, we just added a $40 million expansion to the Dairy Connect. Those, it's a safety concern, so we're putting all of our programs down on campus. Live Oaks is over in Milford, Ohio, off Buckwheat Road, and we just started renovation on it. Again, we're adding more space, about 100 extra seats in both facilities. We're adding a new big, we have a heavy equipment big site right here. We're adding a new facility out there to finish that, and they also are adding a couple of extra classrooms. We're real excited about that. Now we just broke ground June 2nd. These are some of our new future programs, Vision Care. We just added an aviation program with Cincinnati State out of our Harrison campus. We have 13 high school students that will start that journey here in about 2 weeks. Dan's working on a health academy here at this campus to broaden the pipeline for healthcare, and then our IT academy is also working with these. I was close.
Harry?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Harry, for that very inspirational, informative presentation about the history of Great Oaks, the growth through the years, and also the encouragement of interactions with the advisory councils and to be there for the students to help them with the transition. Also about the adult education programs that you have. And you're very familiar, having been a Rotarian for years, of our efforts with Rotary International and the eradication of polio. So on behalf of your presentation today, we will make a presentation in your honor for the eradication of polio to Rotary International.
My oldest sister, back in 1954, died of polio. My mother, family was from Marymount, Homewood Drive. We were talking about my father. My parents lived, they've been married 70 years. They had a blessed life, and they blessed us. But my father and grandfather got involved with Rotary back in my grandfather back in the 30s, found my Batavia club that I go to today. And then my father got involved back in the 50s after that. So March of Dimes was the big thing, but we have always been a fan of what Rotary's done with the polio initiative because it affected our family. And so when we go through these COVID things and we see how it affects, I can't imagine how polio crippled families back in those days. Thank you for that article.
So thank you very much again, Harry. And next week we will be back at the Hilton Netherland Plaza, where our speaker will be the Ohio Treasurer of State, Robert Scragg. And we will wait for the direction of the Great Oaks staff for our tour after this, and Harry will be able to answer and address some more questions that you may have at that time. So we're really excited about being here at this campus and excited about Great Oaks hosting us. So let's continue our efforts of serving to change lives and make it a great week. Thank you.